How do you subtly duck with people? Say common things just barely wrong to where you know they notice but won't correct you. Game of the Thrones. Snapchat. Los Vegas. I like to bring snacks to work on April Fool's Day. Usually, I'll pick something cream filled like donuts or cupcakes. I've done this for over 10 years at my current job. It makes everyone suspicious and straight up messes with their minds trying to figure out what I've done to the snacks. I have a friend who was convinced someone was stealing their pencil lead. I was. So I put things like pencil, mechanic pencil, pencil lead at the bottom of emails in white text so that Google bots would target their ads to be about mechanical pencil lead. He freaked out thinking it was some conspiracy to get him to buy lead. Get them heavily involved in a good conversation while standing and just hand them something. Don't look at it. Keep the conversation going. Keep eye contact and hand them anything from a tennis ball to a rock you just picked up. Almost every time they'll grab it without thinking. Works even better if talking and walking. See how much stuff they can hold. I have a pretty good memory when it comes to stories that my friends have told me, so I like to retell their own story to them a year or two later, now starring myself, and see how long it takes for them to catch on. They start off with a look of "oh man, I can tell a similar story" as soon as he ends his. Then it turns into a look of "wait, that's my ducking story." You know those 6-button combination door locks? I used to press one every time I walked by my boss office. Every time he tried to get in it would take 2 attempts. Every time I tried to get in it took 1. Because I knew there was a button pressed. He has me change the lock twice and never figured out what was going on. Edit. RIP my inbox. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. And mess with doors responsibly, you son of a bitch. Found the boss. A buddy of mine will randomly wish me happy birthday on Facebook when it's not my birthday, so then a bunch of other people will wish me a happy birthday and I have to explain it's not my birthday. This ducker does it every year. A couple of weeks ago he posted on my wall, "Congratulations man, I knew you'd land that opportunity. So proud of you." That followed by a couple dozen people asking me what I had accomplished. I have a good knock knock joke, but you have to start it. "Hey, there's something different about you today. I like it." Just throw in a random little wink when you're in mid-conversation. When someone I know calls me, I answer with "hello. May I please speak to caller's name?" I make references to famous people who don't exist and talk as if they're a regular Stephen Johnson Banks. Always fun to see how far a person will go to avoid seeming out of the loop. I've been moving my co-worker's desk a little bit every couple of days after he leaves. Started against the wall and now it's a solid 8 inches away. Pretty soon it'll be in the doorway and he hasn't said anything yet. I have a lazy eye and can make it look forward or at my nose at will without my glasses. So naturally I love to meet new people and after a small amount of time clean the glasses while having a conversation. All the while moving my eye back and forth, watching them try their damnedest not to say anything. I slowly poke my head around corners. I pretend I don't know really obvious references or concepts. People tend to get upset when they realize after their explanation. I slightly rearrange the stuff on the fridge when I go to people's houses. Sometimes I'll leave things where they are, but turn everything 180. At any drive-thru, Wendy's, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, whatever, I always finish my order with "okay thank, I love you," and then drive up to pick up my meal. Always puts a smile on people's faces. This is only to my bosses. But when I know I'm due for a raise promotion and they tell me they don't have budget, I need to wait a while. I start wearing suits to work. Not every day, but maybe once a week, maybe twice. Skip a few. Repeat. When I'm sat near someone who keeps vibrating their leg and it's distracting me, I start making clicking noises in time with it, usually by flicking a nail against the other on a hidden hand. I pay close attention to the intensity and frequency of their oscillating limb and match the clicks to it. Usually they stop and start again a couple of times, assuming they're the cause of the clicking. Doesn't take long for them to stop after this. Using a fake name when ordering food for delivery. Use a different name each time but always use the same number. After a while of doing this, they get a huge list of names after putting your phone into whatever system they use. Pay cash each time. You can hear them hesitate for a moment as they try to figure out why there are so many names with differing last names as well. Usually they'll ask if you're the person that's most recent in their list. Always say no and give them a brand new name. I also like to use names that sound weird in a fakey kind of way but aren't super obvious. Chester Elegant. Saying cockporn instead of popcorn. Simply introduce myself to a group of people as different names and watch as one forgets my name and asks his friends what my name is to get half a dozen different ones. Works a treat with drunks. Anytime I am saying goodbye I will genuinely tell them, see you tomorrow. It always stops people in their tracks trying to figure out if they forgot something really important or where they would see me. I change the temperature reading on my fridge from Fahrenheit to Celsius. My dad turns it back to Fahrenheit. Neither of us have caught the other doing it and we've never discussed it. It's been going on for over 5 years. Get your extra wireless USB keyboard at your job and plug the dongle into a victim's computer. Then, just a few times per day, type a couple of letters on the keyboard from afar. Give them a Ctrl-Alt-Del, etc. They'll lose their mind. Source: had it done to me. FML. In public places, like malls or grocery stores, I nonchalantly thank random people. I say, hey, I saw what you did back there, and I just want to say thanks. That was great. Most people don't appreciate little things like that anymore, but I do. Then walk away. Unless it is something I genuinely would never want, I say yes to everything. Someone is clearly only asking out of courtesy, would you like a water? Me, yes. I would love a water. I've noticed almost everyone answers no thanks where I live, so I always say yes and make people provide me what they offer. I face the opposite way of everyone on elevators. My office mate and I have the same stapler. When mine runs out of staples, instead of reloading it I just switch them. I'm a teacher. I have one chapter test where all of the answers are C. It's my favorite test. Watching the students slowly look around in confusion. When going to dinner parties, I sometimes bring a framed picture of myself and place it with the host's family photos. If anyone asks why my photo is there, I make up a crazy story about how my life was saved by the host and let it spread for a bit, or until the end of the night lol. I worked the graveyard shift at a gas station, and when stoners came in, I'd greet them by saying how high are you, with the same tone and inflection as hi, how are you? They'd get halfway down the candy aisle and turn back to look at me, questioning if they heard me right or they're just really high. If someone is trying to remember part of a name, I like to complete it for them but with some random part of a name. Usually the person accepts it for a second or two and then realizes what I've done. Them, the actor from Breaking Bad, you know Brian, me, May, them, yeah, comma wait no, that's not right. I really love bananas. I take a couple with me every day to work for mid-morning snacks. I decided to make it a habit of taking a break every time I was eating one to stroll over to a co-worker's desk, chat with her while eating, and throw the peel into her garbage bin before walking back to my desk. She would deal with the smell for the rest of the day. It took a week before I got her, if you throw that in there, I'm gonna kill you. I like to make small spelling mistakes in my sentences. Zone out noticeably when someone is talking to me, and when they finish say I know that game. I like to fill empty Altoids boxes with Tic Tacs and then leave them on my desk. The look of utter confusion on people's faces is worth the effort. I move things in their houses if I go to a party or something. Swap knives and forks over. Swap pictures places. Move pasta into the fridge. Slowly sends people insane. When you're having a conversation and the person stops talking, just stare at them in the eyes and they will be compelled to continue talking subconsciously. IDKY it works. I'm not a psychologist, but it's pretty funny when it works. I've mentioned this before, but every now and then, I'll greet seemingly chill bar guests, I'm a bartender, by saying, how you ducks doing today? When they ask me, what? In shocked confusion, I said, how you folks doing today? My uncle is a car salesman and taught me this. Gives me a little joy when it's a tough shift. There is a story that when George Clooney was younger he used to take the poop from his roommate's cat's litter box over a period, and then when the roommate would start getting really worried about the cat he would take a dump in the litter box. Can't remember where I heard this, but I think it's one of the funniest pranks of all time. While you're on your headphones and someone is trying to talk to you, you reply you did what on what, then take off your headphones. This guy I used to work with, in response to good morning, would say I'm horny but slur it together like macaroni. He would even say it to the CEO. Whenever a person shows you, or posts online a picture of their new tattoo that has words in the design, just say, damn, forgot to double check the spelling. In scary movies, I constantly peer into the dark sections of the theater. When we went to see Lights Out, my friend got so agitated she had to leave the theater. I felt bad, but she got me back on the way home. Every time I poop at work I flip the toilet paper so the flap is against the wall. It always gets changed back. After some intense recon, I think I know who is switching it back. I have no endgame here. Suggestions welcome. I used to have CCTV monitors in my office at a pretty large store, so I would call different departments and hang up right before they picked up the phone, and call them back as soon as they turned around. After a few tries they would stand and wait for the phone to ring again, but I'd wait until the exact second they turned around. Nobody ever found out who it was. Easily the best entertainment ever. Make up a hobby skill for your friend. Over a period of weeks or months nonchalantly describe your friend's aptitude at this skill to your common friends or colleagues. If you pick something general enough, your friend will encounter lots of questions, and it might snowball. Examples. Dan is a very good artist. He painted this for me. Show them a picture of some art someone else painted. Did you hear Dan won an award for his artistic skills? Dan is actually a really good singer. He sung in the state championships last summer. Did you know Margot fixes watches? Bonus points if you pick someone you only vaguely know. Then you can deny starting the rumor and blame someone that knows him even better. More than have a good meal, sir. More than thanks. You too. Slow down the speed of my co-worker's mouse pointer throughout the day. I'm currently leaving small army men toys around my English teacher's classroom at about a rate of 1 per week, and moving them around every chance I can get. She thinks she's losing it. When someone sneezes I tell them to shut up and they almost always reply thank you because they are so used other people saying bless you. Edit. Thank you for the gold kind person. Say something to a stranger out of context, like it's a pretty day today when it's raining. Then say in a really serious voice, get it, while looking them squarely in the eyes. If they say they don't get it, repeat the statement, but really scarily and authoritatively. It's a pretty day today. When my wife says something mildly funny I'll genuinely laugh my ass off. Not sarcastic but as if I somehow really get it, and she'll be so pleased. And I never ever tell her I do this. Sometimes she'll say something else later and I'll do it again and tell her she's really on a roll today. She gets the biggest smile, and will repeat what she said and even laugh too. I love her. When my dad was a mechanic, people would come in and describe a noise their car is making. It's kind going rvia scree. My dad would close his eyes and make them repeat the noise over and over while listening intently, saying keep it up. I think I almost got it, until they are basically out of breath from all this weird sounding gibberish coming out of their mouths. I pretend I have a pet baby duck everywhere I go in my pocket but that he's sleeping right now so he can't come out. In reality, I just have a baby chicken in my pocket, which isn't sleeping. The noises it makes are so similar that people never know the difference and buy it hook, line and sinker.